If there was a poster child in India that defines the fall of the mighty billionaire, it would undoubtedly be Anil Ambani. Let's now first begin with the latest with the three Chinese banks, namely Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, Export-Import Bank of China, and China Development Bank. They are all pursuing their rights at the moment, taking enforcement action against Anil Ambani's worldwide assets to recover their debts. Anil Ambani owes more than $716 million or 5,276 crore Indian rupees, along with significant legal costs to these banks. He was cross-examined by a UK court just recently. The bank's attorney, Bankim Thanki QC, who represented the banks, told the UK High Court on Friday that Ambani was fighting tooth and nail to avoid paying the lenders a penny.
This has really been the stance of Anil Ambani since February this year, when for the first time court asked him to set aside $100 million towards as payments towards Chinese banks. In the same case, he told the court, he submitted before the court that his net worth is practically zero, accounting for all the liabilities, and that he doesn't have the value of his assets have collapsed, and that he has no worthwhile assets to sell to raise this kind of money. And so he said that his net worth is almost zero.
Anil Ambani even appeared before a high court in London. He went on to tell the court that he had sold all his jewelry to be able to pay the legal fees, and all his expenses at the moment were being borne by his wife and his children. Extremely tough to believe.
It does sound weird, does sound bizarre for very rich businesses and very rich promoters. But also the fact is that this is also a stand that most debtors do end up taking in the courts of law, especially when they owe a lot of money which they are not able to pay or they do not want to pay. So in this case, it's very clear that many of the promoter-run companies promoters who are running their companies also professionally, their lifestyle is largely maintained by the organizations that they run. And so if they have a aircraft, or they have a series of aircraft, or a set of cars, or for that matter even a house or a set of houses, very often that lifestyle is paid for by the companies that they run, the companies that they head. And so they can easily take that stand in the court of law, saying that this is their personal capacity, they do not own anything, and this is largely because of the organizations that they are running.
And now what we did here at India Today is try to piece this whole mighty fall together with our sources. Here's how it goes. In 2018, the group company's total debt outstanding stood at 1.7 lakh crore rupees. In 2019, Reliance Communications headed to the bankruptcy court with a debt of 46,000 crore rupees. The revenue for Reliance Communications fell to 1,734 crore rupees in FY20 from 27,710 crore rupees in FY20. The other group companies of Anil Ambani also went down a similar trajectory. An insolvency court even agreed to appoint bankruptcy administrator to examine SBI's plea seeking to recover more than 1,200 crore rupees from the former billionaire. What is worth mentioning here is that addressing the annual general meeting or the AGM of Reliance Infrastructure, Anil Ambani said that these loans were not a personal borrowing. He went on to say that they arose out of a guarantee given for a loan which was availed by RCom and Reliance Infratel way back in 2016. This to clear the dues of Chinese and certain other Indian banks. In March 2019, Anil Ambani also managed to escape a contempt of court and a possible jail term. This happened after his older brother, Mukesh Ambani, stepped in for a bailout. Mukesh Ambani extended over 462 crore rupees to him to pay back Swedish telecom equipment company Ericsson for the past maintenance services. Cut back to 2019, Anil Ambani's RCom had all but wound up. He owed the lenders money to the tune of almost 46,000 crore rupees. His market capitalization plunged from a peak valuation between 2008 and 2019. His net worth crashed from $42 billion to $0.5 billion. That is a steep fall for a billionaire. The real trouble for Anil Ambani, of course, started in the year 2014. All the group companies of Anil Ambani, and of course they were renamed the Reliance Group, owed lenders money worth to the tune of 1.72 lakh crore rupees. That is a huge fall for a billionaire. This was the brunt of a massive debt outstanding. The question here is, what really went wrong here? And what next now for Anil Ambani? Rajiv Dubey explains this better.
What went wrong is essentially, if you look at it, he inherited four major businesses. There was telecom, there was infrastructure, there was power, and then there was finance. And may have been a series of missteps, to some extent management bandwidth, and also possibly market conditions. The biggest one was power sector, and in power there was a gas-based power project which was to come up, and the gas supply went into a major court battle, which resulted in him losing that battle, and finally that gas project, which was supposed to be 7,500 odd megawatt, never came up. The second one was infrastructure, where he was in a series of things, including cement, there was power transmission, and so many of these businesses, after the power sector India became power surplus, many of the power sector plants had to be sold off.